Okay, notes 1-5, domain and range in inequality and interval notation. So we've only got 2 examples tonight, woohoo! But on each of them we want you to find the domain and range of each graph in both inequality and interval notation. Alright, so let's look at number 1. Number 1, it's kind of hard to see here, but down at the bottom that is an open circle. So if we're going to do domain and range of that guy, let's do domain first. So remember, for domain we're reading from left to right, and I like to highlight from left to right, ooh, this one's tough, where it starts, which is right there, and where it stops. But on this one, from left to right, it looks like there's an arrow here. So that's going to keep on going up, but it's also going slightly right, forever and forever. So there is no ending point to the right. So let us write the domain for that. In inequality, we're going to say x. We're talking about domain. So x is everything. It's getting bigger. It's going more and more to the right. So x is everything greater than, and where does it start? This point right here is at -1, -2 is its x value. So x is everything bigger than -2, and it does not include -2 because I know it's hard to see, but that is an open circle, so I'm going to leave that alone. Alright, so that was my inequality. Now let's do interval. Interval for domain, its starting point is -2. -2 is the starting x value, comma, and remember it's going to the right, to the right, to the right, forever, so that means our ending point is positive infinity. Alright, and on this one we're going to use -2 has open circle, so that's parentheses, and remember we always use parentheses for infinity. Now let's look at range. Remember, range, we read the graph from bottom to top. So from the bottom, this is where my graph starts. And same situation, that arrow going up and up and up means there is no stopping point up at the top. So on this one we can't, close it off with a highlighter. So for the range in inequality, let me get my blue back, we're going to say that y is everything, well, it's getting bigger, it's going up and up and up, so that must be greater than, everything greater than, and what is that y value? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Y is everything greater than -5, and remember we don't include it because it's an open circle. And then to our interval notation, starting point is that y value is -5, and it goes on and on and on, up and up and up to positive infinity. And both of those are parentheses because that's an open circle, and infinity always has parentheses. Alright, looking at number 2. This is a funky one. Number 2. We have, let me get my highlighter back, domain. From left to right, this guy has a starting point here, stops right here. Notice that. We don't have anything in between here on the x part of the graph. Has another starting point right here and another stopping point right here. So this domain here, I'm going to use blue, in inequality, we've got 2 things that we need to write. We need to write x lies between, on the first one we've got, what is that x value, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And that first one goes to -1, where the -5 is an open circle, so we leave that guy alone. -1 is a closed circle, so on that one we're going to write r, or equal to. And then we also have here on this one another set which starts at +1, the x value, and the x value finishes at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always draw our crocodiles facing that way. It's domain, so we're doing X. Now the positive 1 has an open circle, so we're going to leave that one alone. The positive 5 has a closed circle, so we better draw that or equal to sign underneath. Alright, let's write that in interval notation. Interval notation on this one, for domain, we're going to have two situations. So starting point on this guy is, remember, -5, comma, ending point is -1. The -5 is open circle, so we use parentheses. The -1 is closed circle, so we use brackets. Remember when we have this situation where we have two separate interval notations to write here? We use that funky union, the OR symbol. So we have OR, and this one starts at +1, comma, ends at +5, with the 1 being an open circle, so parentheses, and the 5 being a closed circle, so brackets. Alright, let's do range on this one. Range on this one, get my blue highlighter. So reading bottom to top, I notice I don't have any graph or any drawings down here. I don't have anything until I get to this point. And then it stops right there on this one, and then this one starts back up right here, and then it stops right about here. So again, on this one we've got two scenarios. So get my blue back. Let's do inequality first for the range. So for the range on this first graph here, it goes from, what's the y value? -1, -2, -3. Stopping point is, the y value is -1. Remember, we're doing range, so we're going to put a y in between there. So -3, is that included or isn't it? Well, it looks like that little hump does in fact touch the line at -3, so we're going to say that one's included. How about -1? This one looks kind of tricky because here on y is -1, we've got an open circle, but here we've got a closed circle. Well, the range is asking which y values are used to create the graph. Well, is -1 used as a y value in this graph anywhere? Yes, it is on this one. We don't care that it isn't on this one, but it is here, so we need to include it. So we've got to do the or equal to. And then our next set right here starts at +1 is the y value, and it ends at 1, 2, 3 is the y value. So y lies between +1 and +3. Again, same scenario. We've got here, this one is included, the +1 is included on that side, so we're going to include it. And I would say it touches that bar there at y is +3, so we're going to include that one. Now for our interval notation, starting point on this one is -1, -2, -3, comma, -1. And if you notice above and looking at the graph, they're both included, so we're going to use brackets on both. Our union sign. And for this one, we've got a y value of +1, comma, goes to 1, 2, 3, +3, both included just like above in the inequality. Alright, don't forget to do your whisk. Have a wonderful evening or day.